Hey, I'm Becca with the Happy Ever Crafter, and if you're watching this video, you are probably trying to get better at your calligraphy skills, or you're just starting to learn. So in this video, I want to give you my 10 super most actionable quick tips that you can use and just take away immediately. And you could maybe even use this as a checklist of like, if you're doing these things, or better yet, if you're not doing these things for some of them. But real quick, if you are here to learn calligraphy, I have a free 90-minute crash course that I really think you should just go sign up for because it teaches you everything you need to know from the ground up in order to learn modern calligraphy. Supplies, techniques, common mistakes, including like PDF guides for everything and traceable downloads and workbooks and all the things that you need. Everything is included in there and it's completely free. So I'm gonna put the link to that in the description down below. You can go check it out afterwards because it's literally where I spill everything. So if you're a beginner, go grab that. But for now, let's dive into the 10 quick tips. Okay, my first tip is to make sure that you're using the right pen. So if you're trying to learn modern calligraphy, you want to make sure that you're using a flexible tip on your pen, not a chisel tip or a hard tip or anything that you can't push on and get thicker and thinner lines. My recommendation is always the Tombow Fudno Suke is such a good pen for beginners. This is my #1 recommendation. Tip number 2 is to make sure you're not going too fast. I see so many beginners who are rushing through their strokes, but slow and steady beats fast and shaky strokes every time. I'm constantly telling my students to slow the heck down. Tip number 3 is to use marker paper or even tracing paper over top of a workbook that has guidelines you can trace through. When you're first getting started, being able to trace and use guidelines that you can see through on your marker paper is so much easier than trying to freehand things on graph paper, for example. So get yourself a workbook from whatever instructor you like. Bonus points if it's me, obviously, and then put marker paper or tracing paper over top and use those as your guidelines and do tracing for a while when you're first getting started. Tip number 4 is if you're struggling with shaky lines in your calligraphy, give yourself permission to press a little bit harder. I see beginners all the time trying to get these perfectly thin upstrokes, and really they're just causing their lines to be shaky. So give yourself permission to press a little bit harder, even on those light upstrokes when you're getting started, because I would rather see a thicker, consistent upstroke than a thinner, shaky one. Number 5, and I will die on this hill, is don't skip the basic strokes. So many people when they get started with calligraphy don't even know that basic strokes exist, and I was one of those people too, but the basic strokes in calligraphy are exactly what build up your entire alphabet. So if you know these strokes, you're going to be able to build letters, and the more consistent your strokes are, the more consistent your letters are. So don't skip the basic strokes. And again, this is exactly what I teach in my free 90-minute crash course. It covers everything you need to know for beginner calligraphy from the ground up. So I'm going to link to that in the comments down below. I highly suggest that you check it out, especially if you're hearing this and you're like, I don't know what basic strokes are. I've never heard of them before. Tip number 6 is to rotate your pen every couple of strokes to make sure that the tip of it is bouncing back to the middle and wearing evenly. A, it's going to make your pen last longer because you're using it evenly on either side, but B, it's going to make your strokes and your calligraphy cleaner because you're not going to have a bent tip on your pen that's kind of fraying or not really bouncing back properly. Tip number 7 is to experiment with what feels comfortable for you posture-wise. This can mean rotating your paper, it can mean raising or lowering your chair, changing your grip. Honestly, you might hear people saying conflicting things about your posture and how to position your body, but personally, I strongly believe that comfort is king when it comes to how you seat yourself doing your calligraphy, because if you're not comfortable, your calligraphy is not going to come out well. I actually have a full video about calligraphy posture here, so I'm going to link to that too if you want to go check it out afterwards, but just know I suggest being comfortable. Tip number 8 is that if you're struggling with getting really good thins and really good thicks with your brush pen, which is crucial for calligraphy, adjust the way you're holding your pen. Keep your pen perpendicular to the page, not parallel to it. If your pen is parallel, when you push down on it, you're not going to get a very nice thick line, but if it's perpendicular, you will. Tip number 9 is not to overlook repetition. Repeat the same strokes and the same words over and over and over again until you're comfortable with them. And when I say repeat the same strokes, I mean do pages and pages and pages of the basic strokes before you even move on to doing any letters at all. The more you practice those basics, the better your letters and your words and ultimately all of your compositions are going to be. And tip number 10 is to critique yourself constantly when you're doing calligraphy, whether you're doing strokes or words or compositions. If you're doing practice, you need to have a red pen to correct yourself as you go. If you can do a stroke or a letter and then sit back and look at it, critique it, and then move on, you're gonna remember all of the little things about that critique and not make the same mistakes later. And that's it. 10 super quick calligraphy tips that you can start using today. Again, if you want a step-by-step system for learning calligraphy and you want all the supplies, guides, the worksheets, the videos, everything you could ever want for learning calligraphy from the very ground up, come and join my free calligraphy crash course. It's at showmeyourdrills.com. And again, I'm gonna put it in the description down below. I would love to see you in there. But either way, I hope that this video with the tips was helpful, and I would love to know in the comments if it was. So leave me a comment. I read them all the time. It makes me feel lovely when you guys are actually finding this helpful. And I'll see you in the next video.